This is a professional. This is a professional operation. Hey guys, I recently went on a trip, and not like the kind of trip where you fall over and you go, "Ooh, ouch! What the heck did I trip on?" But like the kind where you get in a car and you drive to a faraway place and you have a very good time. And it was a very good time, except part of it was a very not good time. You see, on our way to said faraway place, I was wearing shoes. Like what you do when you're going somewhere? But these weren't just any kind of shoes. They were new shoes. New white shoes. And exactly what you think happened to them, happened to them. That's right, a raccoon named Polly robbed me at gunpoint and stole the shoes to sell to fund his cocaine operation. Tragic. I know. I was there. But somehow it gets worse. After putting the gun away and heading across the street back to his Barbie Jeep, he... Were you expecting him to drive a Range Rover or something? He's a raccoon. He doesn't need a Range Rover. Just because he's a drug dealer, he simply can't drive a Range Rover. He's a raccoon. He's got a Barbie Jeep. Okay? As I made clear, Polly is a criminal. And criminals don't look both ways before crossing the road. And exactly what you think happened to him, happened to him. He actually crossed the street safely, believe it or not, but then he tripped on a rock right when he was about to get to his car, and he smacked his head right on the mirror, killing him instantly. Now, the good news is I was able to retrieve my shoes. But the bad news is the shoes were covered in raccoon blood and cocaine. Listen, the cocaine was easy enough to clean up, little nose vacuum, and we were good to go. Plus a nice little high, a little bonus for my troubles. But the blood was another story, sadly. I spent the rest of the car ride smelling like dead raccoon, mostly due to the dead raccoon on my shoes. But once we got to the Airbnb, it was time to clean them, and I was faced with a pretty difficult decision. Now, what gets homicidal raccoon out of new white shoes? I asked Siri.
I don't know that one.
She said. Classic Siri. Helpful as always. Thank you, Siri. So, without the help of Siri and without the brain power required to ask the 7 people I was with how to get this raccoon out of my shoes, I just tried every single thing I could think of. Detergent and a washing machine cycle, bleach and a washing machine cycle, pissing on them. Nothing was working. In fact, I actually started noticing little brown lines all over my shoes, and unless there was a little tiny leprechaun with a very unwiped buttocks scraping himself along my shoes in the washing machine, my efforts were just making things worse. But that's when it hit me. A magic eraser. It hit me. It actually hit me in the eye. But I was happy for its arrival nonetheless. I took the eraser to my shoes, I started scrubbing, and voila. Voila. Instantly clean. It worked so well that there was entire pieces of raccoon flying off in every direction as I scrubbed. It was fantastic. Like a mouse in a bathtub, they were squeaky clean, all thanks to this magic eraser and the kind soul who tossed it at my noggin. But that got me thinking, why does this sponge clean so well? What is it made of? And what kind of sorcery is involved in the magic aspect of the magic eraser? Dwarven magic? Elven magic? Orcish magic? Let's find out. Alright, let's just get this out of the way right off the bat. The secret of the magic infused in this magnificent, scrubbly bubbly is an ancient, but also not very ancient at all, and rare, but also very common substance called melamine foam. Ooh, mysterious. Okay, so we all know what foam is, and if we don't know what foam is, yikes. But what is melamine? Good question. I got you covered. Just hold on. Okay. Now, melamine is an organic compound with the formula C3H6N6. This white solid is a trimer of cyanamide. Like cyanamide, 135 and its derivatives have biomass properties. When burned, melamine can be combined with formaldehyde and other agents to produce melamine. Such resins are, oops, you don't care, and neither do I. What you really need to know is that melamine foam is a formaldehyde melamine sodium bisulfate copolymer. Still very boring. All right. Long story short, all these guys come together to form reticulated foam. Reticulated foam, when under a microscope, resembles a net. It's a very porous, low-density, solid foam. It's been used as insulation, soundproofing, flame retardant, and more recently, getting raccoon blood and leprechaun feces out of shoes. Okay, so we know what it is. Kinda. But why does it clean so well? Such great questions. So great. It's almost like I wrote them. Well, despite having a little bit of soapy Botox injected into them, Magic Eraser's claim to fame is actually all that complicated bullshit we just talked about. It actually works like really fine sandpaper, which is pretty cool if you ask me, but that also means that you're not gonna wanna use this on your nuts unless you're looking for a nice close shave right at the same time. In fact, if the surface that you're scraping with the Magic Eraser isn't hard enough, you'll actually kinda scrape the piss out of it. So make sure to choose your grimy enemies wisely.
Bonus fact.
SpongeBob here is even used to clean teeth sometimes. Makes sense kinda, right? But pretty weird though at the same time, and also, don't try this at home because if the Tide Pod Challenge has taught us anything, it's that soap no-go in mouth.
Cue the cleaning montage.
I just spat everywhere. Cue it. Let her rip. It's so clean.
Goodbye.
So much.
What the fuck? That was so much water.
Today, yeah, let them have it. Want something, you better go grab it. Ain't beefing with niggas, they average. Vegetarian niggas, you cabbage.